Just keep going. You're good.
Okay, because we would sing that on the bus on the way to mission trips. And so that would just pass some time. So I was like, oh, I know this. So cool.
We played a game like that, like way back in the day. I forget exactly what it's called though. But it was very similar to it, except we didn't say big booty. It was something else, more kid friendly. It was like gigantic bottom or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm totally kidding.
That's lame.
Fat bottom girls.
That's a bug on my screen. Anyway, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Marc My Words podcast. It is your main host, your host with the most, Mr. Marc My Words himself, Marcus. Joined today by my co-host, as always, Marlon. Marlon, say what's up to everybody.
Hello, hello, hello. What's happening, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. 501.
Tell them all your favorite Marlon facts, Marlon.
Well, my favorite Marlon facts include that I like to appreciate all our old listeners and our new listeners. That I recently got a new animal in my house, in my home, and
don't forget baby girl.
And baby girl. Done. Those are my three big things.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. You're definitely Marlon. You passed the Marlon vibe check. So that's good. Thank you guys for coming back for another episode. Today we're going to be revisiting something we've already talked about. But before we get into it, I'd like to introduce our other special guest, who is my best friend, the one and only Lauren. Lauren, introduce yourself. Tell the people what's up.
What's up, y'all? I'm Lauren. I'm Marcus's best friend. That's all you need to know.
That's about it. Yeah.
Hey, big facts.
Big facts. So today, we're gonna be talking about relationships, kind of like a part 2 of the last episode we talked about relationships on. Unfortunately, Marlon couldn't join us. He had some prior engagements that didn't line up with our recording schedule. So we had to go ahead and just drop him, and now he's no longer a part of Marc My Words. He's actually gone forever. So it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks, you know. We started this thing, and
I was supposed to remember the whole recap of the last episode.
Yeah, so you would be a nice replacement, but
my Marlon powers are failing me.
You ruined it. But nah. That's not true whatsoever. He'll definitely be back. But yeah, we're gonna be revisiting our relationships, but we're gonna get more of the female perspective from Lauren. So I had to bring her on because she's got some things that she wants to talk about. Some questions she's gonna ask. I've got a few of my own. I think, but first, Jordan, you've been here before.
I have. Hello.
You have to go ahead and ask Lauren the most important question.
You know what? This is true.
Before we get started with any of this.
Yeah, you know what? Let me just prepare my notes real quick. I don't want to rush into anything. I don't want Lauren to feel pressured.
Not at all.
Lots of pressure.
Lauren.
What's up?
Jimmy John's Franchise, LLC, is an American franchise sandwich fast food chain restaurant specializing in delivery. It was founded by Jimmy John Lausted in 1983 and is headquartered in Champaign, Illinois. In 35 years, the company has grown to more than 2,800 locations in all states except for Alaska, Connecticut, Hawaii, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. As of 2014, 98% of the locations are franchise-owned. How do you feel about Jimmy John's?
Okay, so stay with me, y'all. Stay with me.
I'm gonna attempt to.
But it has a good ending. So
I like it.
I had never even heard of Jimmy John's until I was 21. And my friends took me out to Dixon. So in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Dixon's the street to go out on if you're drinking.
Yep.
So, I was feeling pretty good at 2:00 in the morning. So we went to Jimmy John's. That's the only place at the time that was open that late.
I used to go to Jimmy John's all the time.
Yeah, because we went to same school. What's up?
It's terrible.
Let me tell you something though. Even when I was drunk, where I couldn't see straight, it still tasted like crap. I don't know if we curse that much on here, but I really want to right now.
Hey, go ahead, let them know how you really feel.
It tasted like shit, dude.
Like, yeah.
The bread was gross. There was so much lettuce. And then a couple of years later, once I kind of looked him up, because I worked on Dixon at that point, and I still do, I learned that the owner, I don't know if he's the owner now, but he was then, trophy hunts. Which, if you know me, I'm all about the animals. And I like conservation. I like protecting animals, especially if they're freaking endangered. And this guy goes out and shoots these animals in these conservatories that aren't actually conservatories. They just drug these animals and let these like rich white men come out and shoot them and quote unquote hunt them. So yeah, I hate Jimmy John's. The end.
Joe, what do you think?
I'm pretty sure she passes the test.
Woo!
Yeah. I mean, we respect her opinions, and we're glad that they mesh with our own.
Right. Of course.
I just want to address an issue. Someone brought up the term echo chamber the other day with regards to Jimmy John's and how we talk about it, And I just wanted to put out some more statements that what I'm telling you is absolutely authentic. I used to go to Jimmy John's a decent amount of time. That's because I just didn't have standards for myself. You reach a certain point in life where you're just so ground down. Especially as a college student or something. Right there's the Jimmy John's on Dixon's. It was right across it was right across the street from the engineering building where my class, it was just the easiest, closest thing. And I was a broke college student. I just didn't have standards, so it won't kill you. But now that I am an adult and I can be more selective with my eating establishments,
you know better.
I ain't going anywhere near it. So,
exactly.
We're not just ragtagging. Some of us have seen both sides of the street. And we're just trying to help the people out, is all. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and I'll go into it on a different episode. This is the episode I'm gonna give my full explanation, but I think Lauren did a great job explaining why you should eat there, other than just the food itself. There's plenty of reasons to go spend your money elsewhere.
Subway's the same price pretty much, and they'll give you a freaking cookie.
Man.
And it's normally hot.
And who doesn't like cookies? You, sir, that just raised his hand in the audience?
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Security,
nobody wants you.
Security.
You didn't pay for your ticket?
Can we have this man removed, please?
Golly, what a freaking moron. Anyway, out of that guy's out of here.
Marlon in the background because he can't be here today. He's trolling.
Airing him out.
He's trolling us. Oh, what a guy.
What a guy.
All right. What we
My bad, y'all. My bad.
Yeah. Let's
It's not Marlon, y'all. It's someone else.
It was another
It's the
guy.
owner of Jimmy John's.
No, it's that other guy, Barlin.
Freaking Barlin.
His evil twin. Oh my gosh.
I think I am the evil twin though.
Oh no.
Oh no.
All right, so let's just like I said, it's we're gonna do relationship part 2. We had some questions. I know, unfortunately, Marlon was the one who led the episode, but looking back on it, I had a couple of there were a couple of things that he said.
Why do you keep talking about me? I'm not right here. What's going on?
Oh, my bad.
Remember?
So I got some questions that we asked before. But actually, I'm actually wanting to hear from you first, Lauren, if you don't mind.
That's me.
Just from some stuff that you heard in our previous episode that you want to take to the next step or give the different perspective of, or just come with something new altogether. We can come back to that later. So whatever you got for us, just pop us off.
Okay, so I listened back to that relationship episode. If you haven't listened to it, you should. So the first thing that really stood out to me is the whole standards conversation.
Okay. Yeah.
So y'all talked about, I guess the first question was, in general, do we or, as individuals have lower standards or higher standards, and where should our standards be? And this may get real deep, y'all. So just
hey, that's what we're here for. So we're here for.
From my perspective, and yes, I'm a female, just me personally, and Marcus can attest to that. In high school, my standards were pretty low. There were a couple good guys there, and but for the most part, in high school, not great. And I think for me, what my first thought is your standards that you have at the time are based on how you feel about yourself, which seems obvious. But what I think is more important is you have to like think about like, well, why are my standards this? And what are my thoughts about this? So for me personally, my family situation at the time in high school wasn't great. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I didn't have a good like father figure in the house, I guess you could say. And so it's that whole thing where you have like daddy issues. It's like that stereotype thing. And I was looking for that attention anywhere else I could get it. Not that I was like hoeing around or anything, but I was always in a relationship. I could not be single. It just, I felt very empty if I was single. So I didn't love myself yet. And so I think, yes, your standards are low sometimes and they're high sometimes and they're like quote unquote normal or where they should be sometimes. But if we're not like thinking about why they are where they are or who we're looking for, then it's just going to be like a vicious cycle. So like as an adult, for like 5 years, I didn't date at all because I finally was like, all right, work on yourself. You got some stuff going on. Figure that out. Go to counseling. Everyone should go to counseling.
Hey, facts.
Oh, yeah. Jordan's with me. So I went to counseling. It was amazing. I know not everyone can afford it at the time that they maybe need it the most, but when you can afford it, freaking do it. Because whether it's work or relationships or just yourself or whatever, you got to do it. Everyone should go to counseling. So I did that. And literally the week that I was ending my sessions, I met the guy I'm with now, who is just like so much different than my past relationships.
Yes.
And is like where I am comfortable and happy and feel loved and complete and whatever. But I know that if that ended tomorrow, I would still feel 100%. So it kind of goes back to y'all talked about too, loving yourself first.
Yeah.
So if you don't do that, your standards will be either too low or too high because you're protecting yourself from whatever it is. So just
like
to not go on too long, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I feel like you were talking about why your standards are where they are. And I think a like a quick litmus test for that is thinking about if your friend was going to date this person.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times, like we can, like you said, with yourself, you have whatever issues you have, whatever self-esteem, that kind of stuff. But with your friend, you're like, no, I want to make sure they're with a good person that, can take care of them, X, Y, Z. And so you might not look at yourself like that, but if you imagine them being with your friend, then you're, well, yeah, obviously. So I think that's a really quick way to kind of get an idea of where you're lining up.
Because just doing that now, I can like be like, nope. For a lot of my exes, not all, some were good.
High school,
a lot of them, I'm like, nope.
High school was dark days. We'll just leave that there.
High school was dark days, man.
Yeah, I think we all have a nice relationship high school story that we might share at a different time.
Right.
That we will regret.
Well,
maybe
high school's tough anyway because, like, I think Marcos had said this a couple weeks ago too. You see everyone dating around you, and so even if you don't feel like like how I felt like I have to have a boyfriend or whatever, you see it, and then it's like if you don't have someone, it's like, well, now I'm the outsider, and I'm going to be the third or fifth or whatever wheel, and so you just feel pressured to date, even if mentally, spiritually, whatever you want to say, you're not ready to date. And honestly, in high school, you shouldn't date. Like, just be yourself. Like, if you find like a really awesome person, like, okay, maybe. But in high school, you don't even know who you are yet.
Yeah.
So, but there are high schools people out there, which I hope they're not, because this is weird stuff to listen to if you're in high school.
Right.
Don't date. Just have friends.
Yeah, I think finding good friends is more important, and I think that helped me even to this day. I mean, I have you two here with me right now because of the decision I made, and I'm glad.
Oh yeah, by the way, we all were in high school together.
Hey,
yeah,
same graduating class and everything.
Go way back.
Woo.
Absolutely.
We all survived. We all made it out.
God barely.
That right. Yeah, that's interesting. I definitely agree with you on. It's a lot more important to focus on friends, like having good friends, and just like kind of being yourself. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to date a little bit in high school, but I think the way we thought about dating in high school is what you're talking about and isn't the best. But like thinking now, it's like I think that in high school, like you should date a little bit and get used to, okay, this is what it's like to be in a relationship with someone. These are the types of like, oh, this is like a responsibility now, or like I have another person whose emotions are tied to my own, or like I don't need to just like be a complete dick to this person, so but I think that what most people are going for is that, oh, I want to fall in love, I want to find the perfect person like that.
High school sweetheart type deal.
Yeah, you're right. Don't be too serious.
Right, you don't need to be pushing that. So yeah, I agree. I think that some dating in high school casually, just to kind of start figuring out what that's like, is good. Is good because like I feel like a lot of people don't go to college, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And so I think that if people don't do any dating in high school, then you go straight out to the real world, and now you got to figure out dating.
Makes it way harder.
Like dating as an adult is just so much more difficult because you're not with people all the time. It's like on a college campus or in a high school. You're around people all the time. It's a lot easier to meet people and contact people and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know some people that it's like I dated like 2 people, and now I'm this is the love of my life, and like maybe that's true. Maybe it's just maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. It's just like I feel like you need to be able to meet enough people to know what it's like with different people.
Yeah,
there's absolutely nothing wrong with falling in love in high school and marrying your high school sweetheart and living a happy life together. That's great. That's fantastic. But that doesn't happen for everybody. And if you only meet one person and you only have one reference to compare to, then maybe that person is abusing you and you don't know it because you think that's normal.
Yeah, you don't know better.
Because that's how so many things are, is like we think that they're normal because it's what happens to us, but that doesn't mean that that's normal.
Right.
So anyways, I'm getting off topic.
No,
it's good. That's a really good point. Yeah, I'm glad you went there. I think that needed to be said. From there, I guess we'll just we'll kind of switch gears. I want to ask Lauren some specific questions. Starting with like, so since you have dated, and I know this since I know
Marcus knows me.
It's like
we were
dated.
We were there.
I was
y'all
there.
both were there. Yeah.
So when you date someone and you realize that it's not working, when is the time to call it quits? And how is the way to go about that?
Sure.
Because I feel like a lot of people don't know, or they're afraid and they get stuck.
Right.
Because they don't know how to end it. So I guess that's kind of a double question, but basically, how do you break up with someone when you feel like it's not there?
Right. So to be honest, most of the time I did not know when it was time. And so oftentimes I was the one broken up with, but there were a couple times that I unfortunately had to be the one to break up with that person. And one specifically stands out because this was a person that I had been friends with since like 4th or 5th grade. And we dated my like junior through senior year in high school. And he was a nice guy. We were really good friends. At the time we were probably best friends. And I think that was the mistake, is I kind of mistook those like feelings of best friendship to more than just best friendship. And I realized like halfway in, I was like, okay, I think he feels a lot more about me than I do about him.
Yeah.
And so it took me a couple weeks, to be honest, because at that point, once I had that first thought, I'm like, well, am I mad about something that he did? Or, or did something happen that I didn't like that I'm not like addressing? Or, something like that. Like, is it a specific thing or is it just in general? And so, we went on a few more little dates and hung out with our friends together. And I realized that I felt the same way about him as I felt about my other male friends. And that's when I was like, oh, because I knew he felt much more about me than I did about him at that moment.
Right.
And so, honestly, that was the easy part, because then you're like, well, this is my friend and now he's more. So, like, I don't want to just, like, hurt his feelings so bad. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. It just doesn't work. And so I talked to a few friends because I just felt so torn. And they gave me some pointers. And I don't know if that works for everybody because it's kind of your own personal decision. But for me, that helped because I could point out different things that he may come back and say, like, to try and, like, almost make me rethink it, And so one night I just decided, like, this is it. You can't wait for the best moment because there's never a best moment.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of the worst things you can do to someone who cares about you so much. And so you just got to, like, suck it up and do it. And in that situation, because he didn't do anything wrong, it just wasn't working. I think it was a little easier because if he had cheated or if he had lied about something big or something like that, I could be like, well, this is it.
Right.
But, it's harder because I had to say, I just don't think I feel the same way, which I think is almost worse.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can't help it and he can't help the way he feels. And you just get stuck in that. I feel bad, but I got to do it because the longer you wait, the worse it's going to hurt.
Oh, man. Facts.
So you just have to put yourself in their shoes and be like, all right, if I do this now, will it hurt less? And will it hurt less for both of us? Will we both be able to move on to where we need to be if I do it now?
Right.
So that may not be the best example because, like, nothing bad happened. It's just a bad
I think, like you said,
but
it would have been, I mean, you kind of touched on it. Like, if he would have done anything else, it would have been easier to have having that reason. So, like, I think it covers both the points really well.
Yeah.
I know we don't talk about the guy anymore because it's problematic, but this song was big when we were that there's never a right time. That's what I was thinking as soon as you said
For
that.
real?
Yes. I was like that was like the song. Like,
yeah.
Dang, yeah. That does fit. Yeah, that does fit really well.
Yeah. And like I said, it's so much easier if they do something wrong. Whether it's the girl or the man or whoever you're attracted to, like, it's just so much harder when they're just a good person, but you just don't feel that for them anymore, or you maybe never did.
Right.
So anyway,
I think that's the hardest thing is just being honest. Being honest is what you have to do. But especially like in high school when you don't even know. A lot of the times you don't even know what you feel.
Right.
About yourself, about other people, about, so just trying to figure things out and navigate things is hard enough without also being like, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, but it's just not what I need,
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
It is.
Honestly, I don't remember why I got my last relationship that I was in. My girlfriend broke up with me, and honestly don't remember what she said as to why.
Well, because you go into this, like, protective mode. Because, like I said, most of I was broken up with. You go into this, like, protective mode where, like, you hear the first thing, which is the main thing, which is we're done.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure, like, after I heard that,
because it's like,
I just went numb after that.
I just want to leave.
You just spiral out. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember. I don't want to hear it.
I just remember being on the phone, being like, yeah, okay,
right.
And that's
and then you hang up and you just go, oh, you just sobbing.
Right. Like that was it. Like I honestly, like, I mean, it'd be like super awkward for me to just like hit her up and be like, "Hey, so why are we in this?" And
especially
if I did something especially if I like did something horrible and she like said it, I'm just like, "Oh yeah,
sorry, bye,
my bad." Click, and then, so here's another question that I'm interested in hearing both of y'all opinion, because both of you guys, Jordan's married, has been for what is it, 4 years now?
We are at 4.5 now.
4.5.
Dang,
yeah, that's awesome. I know.
As of
wow.
As of today, actually.
Hey,
that's
4.5.
That's what's up. And then Lauren's in a committed relationship as well. So I want to ask both of you guys, since you are both dating, have dated, been in like super serious relationships, is cheating, like emotionally cheating, a thing? And if it is, what are some examples of that? Because I've heard people say like, well, I didn't like do anything, or like he didn't do anything physical, with another girl or with another guy, or she didn't, but like they emotionally cheated. And I don't really, if y'all think it is a thing, what are some examples of that? Because I'm a little bit confused about exactly what it is. Like I have like a thought, but I don't know exactly what it could entail. As a guy, like I feel like as a guy, I don't really know that well. And I feel like you might, like Lauren, you might have like a different perspective as to like what that could be.
Sure. Jordan, do you want to start and I can finish it up?
Sure, yeah. So I definitely think that like what you call emotional cheating is a thing. So most people think of cheating as like actually doing something physical. And so a lot of times people will be like, "No, I wasn't cheating. We didn't do nothing." But really, honestly, cheating is something that is going outside of the relationship in a way that is dishonest with your partner, basically. So, like, if you are deceiving your partner, or if you're doing something that you two haven't discussed and agreed to, as this is how our relationship is, then that's cheating. So, like, some people are polyamorous, where they're okay with having having a relationship with multiple people, and usually how that works is that that's agreed upon. People say, we are okay with this. Like we've talked about, you and I are dating, but we can also date other people, and we've both communicated that to each other and said that's okay. And so that's how you've defined your relationship. So therefore, if you do that, that's fine. So cheating to me really is breaking trust with your partner and doing something that you haven't agreed to. So, if you, start catching feelings for somebody and start talking with somebody and flirting and getting into all this stuff, whatever that develops into or doesn't develop into, like that is a dangerous zone to get into, because you are now doing something that you haven't agreed with your partner about. And especially if that turns into something, then now, you're having this emotional attachment to this person, or this relationship with this person that you guys haven't talked about and your partner hasn't consented to. So to me, that's definitely something that can happen, and that's definitely cheating in my eyes.
Okay, I do have I have a question for Jordan, for both of y'all, but no, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go first because you might answer it. So I'm going to let you go.
So just to add on to that, the main word that comes up for me is intimacy. So you have like the physical part, obviously, but you also have the emotional and spiritual and whatever you want to call it. And for me, emotional cheating without that physical aspect is kind of like that break in that intimacy. So instead of going to your partner or, relying on them for certain things or talking about certain things with them, you're going maybe to somebody else.
Right.
So if my boyfriend now was going to another girl and saying, well, here's how I feel about, whatever it is, and this is what I'm struggling with, or whatever it is, even if it's more than just that. If they can have that intimate bond with someone, and like Jordan said, if you don't agree upon having that with someone else, because everyone's different. and they can't have it with you, for me, that in itself is a type of emotional cheating, because your spouse or your partner should be that one person, besides maybe your best friend, depending on who you are, that you can go to for these things, and you can trust, and you can, tell your deepest, darkest thoughts and secrets to. So if they're going to someone else for any of that, and they don't feel they can tell you, or they don't want to tell you,
right,
that's a huge break of that intimacy. That is such a pillar of your relationship.
right.
It's that, it's that trust thing. It always goes back to trust. But that's, for me, that's what that is.
Okay.
Right. It's when the priorities get messed up.
Yes, priorities.
So
yes.
it's okay.
Okay, I see.
It's okay. Some people are intimate with their friends, and they they have things that they talk to with their friends that they're really close to. But like you said, when you start feeling like you can't talk to your spouse about, or your partner about it, and you go to that person instead,
right,
that's when you start getting into issues. And I think that is an easy trap for people to fall in, where if you start seeing things that you feel aren't perfect about your relationship, and you talk to someone else about them, or see this other person as, oh, they're better at this.
Yeah.
Instead of actually working with your partner and saying, okay, these are the problems. Why are these the problems? Are we just not communicating? Is there actually an issue? Like what?
Oh, right.
Instead of taking the effort to work things out, you're like, oh, well, we just don't have that connection like I do with this person or whatever. So I think that's something that people can pretty easily fall into.
For sure.
Okay, yeah, I think you answered my question when you said basically about having that trust with that person. And I think that's pretty much the main thing, because that's what y'all are saying is pretty much what I was thinking. In terms of just going to someone else for a problem or something that might not necessarily need to be outside of the relationship.
Exactly.
I think it kind of breaks that bond. I think of the equivalent of putting like a relationship where like there's a kid involved, and like the baby mama's like just thrashing the guy over Facebook or something. Like I feel like you should be talking about this. Like this isn't our place to see this. And that's just kind of throwing that out there. But yeah, no, I agree with both of you guys. Very good points on both of those. Here's another question. Not as heavy as that. So, Lauren, do girls really not know what they want to eat, or do they just want the guy to choose?
See, I don't get this, because I almost always know what I want to eat.
Yeah.
But see, I like to eat, and I love food.
Yeah.
So I don't know what girls don't know what food they want, but there will be sometimes, the only time I can tell you that I know that I don't know what I want to eat is when I'm so hungry that I could literally eat anything. But besides that, I'll tell my boyfriend now, I'll say, dude, I want some like Popeyes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that sounds good. See, I don't get this whole thing like, oh no, you pick. Oh no, I don't know. I think that's
want
just
anything. Anything sounds good.
And you know what I think that is? I think in the beginning of a relationship, which I also did not experience, I always know what I want to eat. I'll tell you. But I think at the beginning of a relationship, when you're still trying to be cute and, girls don't poop and stuff, that whole like thing where you're trying to just be like, I'm just like a goddess. You're like, oh, well, you pick because I don't know, because I'm never hungry. And like, we all know that this girl's hungry.
Hey,
exactly.
It's time for dinner.
Celia shits, okay?
Yes. Everybody poops. Read the book, y'all. So I don't get that. And I think it's just girls trying to be cute. But it is very annoying, because I have friends who will do that with me, even just as a friend.
And you're like,
and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go where I want to go then, and you don't get to choose then. And if we get there and you're mad, then you don't get to eat.
It's time for you to speak up.
So no, girls,
some people are just indecisive too. Whether you're a girl or a guy, some people are just straight up indecisive.
Yeah, but in general, unless you are indecisive as just your own individual, you know where you want to eat. You're just trying to be cute, and it's really annoying. So please just choose where you want to eat. If your guy asks you where to eat, say, I want Popeyes, and I want their new chicken sandwich thing that I still haven't had, but I still want, Blaine, if you're listening, give me a freaking chicken sandwich.
Hey, get the one with a
Popeyes.
chicken sandwich, Blaine. What are you doing?
Freaking Blaine.
Golly,
By the
Blaine.
way, that's boyfriend. He's cool with it. I can name drop. I asked him.
Ooh,
Okay, good.
throwing him out there.
I mean, I only said it because you said it. Otherwise, I would have edited it.
No, I know. No, he's cool with it. I asked him. So,
I mean,
in case anyone gets mad.
Kat's dad teases her and says that she's not allowed to choose where we eat because anytime she chooses a restaurant, it's terrible. So
that's different.
I think Kat has just been conditioned to not choose what to eat.
That's so sad. Let her eat.
That really is sad.
Let her eat, Dad.
Damn.
No, it's good. Well, it was funny because we were coming home earlier, and she was like, "What do you want to eat?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let's just grab something real quick because we didn't feel like cooking." I was like, "Let's just grab some Wendy's or something." She was like, "Okay, cool." And then like a minute or two later, she was like, "Are you okay with Taco Bell?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I love Taco Bell. Why?" She's like,
"Right.
I'm not really feeling Wendy's." I was like, "Then tell me." Like, I'm down for some taco. I didn't even think about Taco Bell.
Right. Her poor dad conditioned her to not know where she wants to eat.
Come on, we're going to talk about this.
Be better.
Dad.
Yeah, for real. Golly.
It's okay to want to eat that Popeye's chicken sandwich. You know, I think it's like you were saying though, especially if you're in high school, it's like, oh yeah, well I don't want to say where I want to eat because I don't want to be judged about what I'm gonna, I don't poop, like you said.
I'll tell you though, as a swimmer, doing 2 a day sometimes, I'm gonna eat all day.
Yeah,
just get me some food. So yeah.
So is there anything like as far as like, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. So are there times where you do want the guy to make the decision? Like what is the time where you're just like he needs to step up and make this choice? Like is there any time for you?
Sure. So it is nice every now and again for like your guy or your whoever to just like plan a date, and Blaine's really good about that. And so, sometimes every now and again he'll be like, we're going on a date. You'll find out where we're going. Here's what type of clothes you should wear, whether it's casual or a little bit more dressed up or whatever. And so very rarely, because we on a budget, we'll go and like be a little fancy. And so it's really just, it's more of that romantic aspect where it's like, this man took his time to plan, make reservations maybe, depending on what you're doing, to just make your night special. So like in those instances, I'll tell every guy listening, if you're into girls appreciate that. Plan a date every now and again. We like that.
Put forward effort.
Right. And that's all it is. It's effort. It's showing that you're still interested. It's showing you're still attracted to me. It's showing you still want to spend time with me in a different setting. And I'll tell you, one of the best things that Blaine and I ever did is make a date jar. And so we have both of us put ideas in for dates that we know that we'll both like. And some nights we're just sitting at home bored. And I'm like, let's just go to the date jar. He'll say, let's go to the date jar. And we'll pull it out. And that's such a good idea. And so that's a little off topic. But yeah, sometimes girls do want the guys to just like show that they care enough to plan this night. Even if it's as simple as going to the bowling alley, getting some beer and some pizza and bowling. It's just nice. It doesn't take a lot of money or a lot of effort. It's just, it's nice to just make that a little bit of effort.
See, I think a really fun date idea is to go to Goodwill on like a 20 or whatever thrift shop you want to go to on like a $20 budget and be like, we're going to pick out outfits for each other and we're going to go out. We're going to go out to dinner or a movie or whatever, wearing whatever outfits we got from our thrift shop.
Oh, that's going in the jar for sure.
Because that's pretty
down.
Right.
Write all this down, Marcus.
Low budget.
Because I'm about to be back out there in the game.
Get to do the whole changing room, like trying on outfits.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome. I like that.
That is a really cool idea. I like that as well.
We have some low budget things, but that's not in there, so I'm gonna put that in.
That's a good one.
You're welcome. From Marlon, the big date
From
ideas.
Shout out to Marlon coming in the clutch with the great date ideas. He's gonna be listening to this and be like, "Dang, I gotta put that in
that's
the
not
book
me."
for real."
Okay, can I throw something out there real fast?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so one of the things that y'all talked about in that episode that I wanted to just kind of like address again.
Yeah, we're all out here.
Is do good guys finish last?
Interesting. What do you?
I actually kind of wanted to talk about that too.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'll go next.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Marcus says that he was garbage and trash and stuff. Okay, so that's a little harsh.
I mean, I'm gonna be my biggest worst enemy. Yeah,
I was there, right? I was there.
Yeah, these guys, they were there. That's true. Because Marlon doesn't have that luxury. He doesn't know.
That's true. Yeah, no, we were both there, and just from my perspective, we were in high school. We all made mistakes. But Marcus was not garbage. He was not perfect, but he was not garbage.
These guys are great, by the way.
Yeah, don't cry, Marcus. Oh God, thanks guys. But no, for real. So I think, okay, let me just phrase this right.
Yeah, you got it.
So going back to the question, do good guys finish last? When we are young, yes.
Okay.
Good guys finish last. If the woman or whoever is attracted to this man who finishes last doesn't prioritize the right thing. But when you're young, that's pretty much everybody. You are looking for someone who is hot, in your opinion, who you think has like this good like future going, maybe some money involved, whatever.
The cool factor.
Yeah, the cool factor is always there. And we often miss these good guys who are maybe quieter and more reserved. Marcus was that guy.
It's me.
I'll tell you that right now.
He's still funny.
He's still funny, but back then he was a little quieter about it.
Yeah.
He didn't have this whole podcast thing going.
Look at me now.
Look at me now.
But no, for real, I think
there's another song. Look at me now.
Look at me now. But no, for real, I think that like depending on where we're at age-wise and like mentality-wise, good guys do finish last, because until we're older and we can appreciate all the mistakes we made with these good guys or these bad guys and these like bad girls, you don't know what you're missing with these good guys. You don't know that they're going to be loyal and treat you right and be honest. Hello.
Man.
So, good guys do finish last until the rest of us figure out, okay, well, maybe he is the right one. And by then these good guys are probably billionaires. And when you hit them up, they're like, nah, I'm good. Thanks, though. Because they found their person who realized good guys were good. So, no, I think there's a truth to that.
Yeah, you should see my DMs now that I got this podcast going. They all want me. All want me now. It's too late, ladies.
I do definitely think there is that that pursuit of that youth has of, oh, I want the cool guy or girl, or the the bad girl. I want this risk and danger and excitement. It's when you're in high school, it's hormones and excitement. You're not thinking about, I want a stable, loyal person. You're just like, oh, I want this person because they're pretty, or I want this person because they're cool, or what. So I definitely do think there's truth to that, and I also think there's truth to what Marcus and Marlon said in that other episode. Was a lot of times these guys ain't as nice as they think they is.
Right.
Like they're like, oh yeah, I just got put in the friend zone and I'm just getting hoed and it's terrible. It's like, no, you're a dick. And she said, no, like it's like I think one of the most like say it louder for the back type of things I heard was someone said something about being kind isn't a currency for a relationship. It's like, just because you're nice to me doesn't mean I have to go out with you. Like, that's not how that works. You should just be a nice person.
Exactly.
And that's how so many people think. They're like, because I've seen so many examples of that, where it's like this guy's like being real nice and like, especially like screenshots on Facebook or something. Send it in the DMs, like, hey baby girl, you cute, you want to hang out? And they're like, no, not really, sorry. Well, you a bitch. It's like, whoa, I thought you was a nice guy. Like, what? And so it's like, they just say that because it makes them feel better, and they're not actually nice guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's both. There's definitely both. Like
For
with
sure.
with most things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Man, yeah, no, that's good. I like this. I like this. You got anything else? Yeah, I was say you could.
Well, I was
yeah,
gonna say because I think you talked about the friend zone on that last episode.
I was actually just about to bring that up. I'm glad. Good. We're all on the same page. Yeah.
I haven't listened to it since it came out, but I thought I remembered that on there. But yeah, it's like, I mean, usually when people say that, it's just people thinking that being nice is a currency for sexual favors. It's like that's not how that works. It's like just because you're nice to me does not mean I owe you a date now.
So are you saying it does? So do you agree that it doesn't exist or it does exist?
Well,
where are you on that?
It's weird because I don't know what it. I guess it depends on how you define it. Because I almost tend to think that it doesn't exist because usually when people are saying that, it's just an excuse of I got turned down and I want to feel better about it.
Right.
If you're defining it as like what Lauren was saying earlier, where whether you're dating somebody or you're thinking about dating someone and you realize I just don't have these feelings about you, we're really good friends and I don't want to damage that, then I guess if you call that a friend zone, then I guess that's a friend zone. I don't know. I would just call it you're good friends and you don't want to risk your friendship over people being petty or something. But yeah, so I guess it depends on how you define it, if it exists or not. But my main point was just that a lot of people use that as an excuse when it's not actually I got put in the friend zone. It's I thought I was obligated a date because I thought that I was being nice.
And see, I don't even like the term in general because a lot of people say like, well, guys and girls can't just be friends. Like, because like the whole friend zone, like it's not a real thing. But like, for example, Marcus and I have been best friends since, 7th grade and there's been no problem. Like at all. We are like 100% this whole time good. Little tips here and there, just like barely little minuscule things, but I mean, they're not worth talking about.
Right.
And so for me, like even having the term friend zone is stupid because either I'm attracted to you in like that romantic way, or you're my friend or my best friend, like how Marcus is, or none of the above. Like if I say, no, I don't want to go on a date with you, then I didn't friend zone you. I just said no.
Right.
Like,
it's not that is this whole big deal that people make it out to be. I just said no, or that person just said no to a date. And yeah, sure, technically that's the friend zone because y'all are just gonna be friends now or less than that. But it's like Jordan was saying, like, you're like this good friend and you try really hard to be this good friend. And then like she says no, or he says no to this date or to like whatever. Like, that's just them being honest and trying to still just be friends with you and to put that relationship as a friend over whatever else you wanted it to be that person didn't feel. It's just, it's a really weird thing for me to even talk about because it's like, we're just friends. Like, it's not like a thing, it happened.
Yeah. Honestly, to put like words on what you're saying is it's like delegitimizes opposite sex friendships. Like,
yes,
it says
exactly.
you can't be a guy and a girl or whatever you're attracted. You can't be in a friendship with someone that you're not sexually attracted to.
Right, which is so dumb.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
right? It's like
And like if we all lived in a world where we couldn't be friends with like whatever you're attracted to, like for me, guys, if I couldn't be friends with any guys, how sad would that be? Like I have so many guy friends, Marcus especially, and a couple others especially, that if I couldn't be friends with them just because like, oh, we're in the friend zone, like whatever. Like, what a sad world, and how many experiences you would miss out on by just like taking this term and making it so much more important than it is.
Yeah.
Right.
My life would suck.
I think that two things that our society needs to emphasize more are, one, like we just said, close friendships with someone that is the gender that you're attracted to that you are not attracted to.
Right.
So in my case, close friends with a girl who I'm not in a relationship with, and 2, closer, more intimate relationships with your friends that you're not attracted to. So like in my case, me and Marcus.
Right.
I'm not attracted to guys, but Marcus is like my best friend, and us being closer and more intimate. People are like, oh yeah, no homo, bro. It's like, no, it's like I can hug my friend. Like people,
right.
There's a lot of these things where people are like, you can't have close, intimate relationships with your friends. And it's like, that's not true. Like,
well, that's even worse for guys because like y'all are like raised for the most part to think that that's not okay and that is like a homosexual thing, which in and of itself is not a bad thing, obviously. But society's like, oh, well, if y'all aren't dating, y'all shouldn't be doing any of this. Like, I'm going to hug and I'm going to kiss my best friend if I want to, and y'all can get over it. It doesn't mean I want to have sex with that person. I just want to like show that I love that person as a best friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, ooh, we're getting deep, y'all.
I know. This is good. This is good. This is the whole point.
Let people love people is really the point.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's always what it comes down to.
It's like if I'm attracted to girls, let me be friends with girls that I'm not attracted to. That's fine. Yeah. If I'm attracted to girls, let me be close to my guy friends. We don't have to like put on this tough guy act of we're guys, we don't show emotions, blah 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 blah.
Exactly.
It's like be close and intimate and compliment your friends.
Yes.
It also takes zero energy to just mind your own business.
Also facts.
Just mind your business. Get out of mine.
Just mind your own business. If you don't like
it, bye. Get out of here.
You ain't even got to deal with it.
Don't comment about it. Just go.
You can go that way, all the way that way.
Yep.
Yeah, like, oh man, this so real. Okay, here's another question I got, and this is could be for both of y'all.
All right, well, Lauren, take it first because I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, did she say
for 2 seconds?
Oh okay, yeah, go ahead. So
Marlon.
see you, Marlon. So do you think that, because Marlon asked this question for me, so I've already answered it, but I wanted to ask you, do you think that a soulmate exists for everyone?
I'm glad you asked because that was on my list too.
Okay, good.
So
what's your take on that?
Obviously I listened to y'all's episode about this, and I heard you guys talk about how, especially like you brought up if someone, marries or was someone really young and that person passes, unfortunately, like you're not just stuck with nobody. So kind of a less extreme version of that for me. So I grew up in a house where my parents were divorced when I was a baby. Like I've always known them as divorced. My dad's been divorced since. My mom's struggled in her relationship. I've got divorced grandparents. I've got divorced this and that. So instead of like looking at that as like a negative thing, I've realized that your spirit, and your soul, like soulmate, your soul and your heart can change so much over your lifetime that to say that you have one soulmate just seems crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, for me, I hope that who I'm with now is my soulmate for forever.
Right.
But because that's what I feel now. But if we grow apart and he grows one way and I grow the other, I don't think it's crazy to think that I couldn't find someone else who my soul connects with.
Yeah, right.
So, yes, there's someone for everyone, but there's also potential for there to be multiple someones for everybody because life happens, people pass, people change, people can become addicted to things, and, everything can change. So, long story short, I think there are multiple mates for everybody, but depending on how your life goes and how they grow and whether you grow together in your soul and your spirit and your heart and whatever, I think that's really what kind of makes things happen and change and all that stuff. So Does that make sense? I feel like that doesn't make sense. Okay.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And you pretty much agree with me.
Yeah, no, I definitely
with
do.
with how we both think, which is that it's just like you said, it sounds crazy to think that there's just one person for everybody.
Because there's like billions of people out there.
Yeah, it's so many people.
And some people won't ever be with anyone because that's what they choose.
Right.
So that's more people for me, y'all. Just kidding. Sorry, Blaine. Love you.
Sorry.
But no, I mean, I think that to limit love and to limit our ourselves like that just seems kind of nuts to me. Because I mean,
yeah,
life happens and we see it happen, and I don't know. Like, and for me, I don't even think that soulmates are just romantic. Like, I've got a best friend who I connect with on a deeper level than a lot of people, or actually almost anybody. And she and I are both heterosexual females. We are not attracted to each other. But if someone asked me who my soulmates were, I'd probably say who I'm with now, Blaine, hello. And this girl or woman who's my best friend who, I mean, I would literally ride or die with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we also think about that too, is like your soulmate isn't just like a romantic thing. It's who your spirit and your soul connect with.
Yeah. Like, who is that person that is forever
it could be a
for
best
you?
friend. It could be your freaking mom. Who knows, you know?
Right.
Like whoever you just connect with. Like,
yeah, I agree. And we're definitely on the same page on that one. And I think, I mean, yeah, you basically just, like, you said it all. Like, I just don't think it's possible. And I think you can definitely, if you think you found your soulmate and it ends up not working out, then I don't think the game is over for you.
No, there's always hope.
I don't think you should just count yourself out just yet.
Right.
There's more out there.
Yeah.
It's a big world we live in, guys.
For real.
Real big world. But yeah, let me think. Let me see. That's another one of these. Did you have anything else?
So let me look.
Because I was like, I've got something, but if you've got something, I'd rather you.
You go ahead, because my thing is kind of like weird after that. So.
Okay. Sounds good. I guess because I mean I pretty much know. Oh, hello.
I'm here. Hello.
Okay, good.
Oh, hello.
I think I know this. I think I know your answer for this one. But I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Okay.
So can you truly be friends with an ex after you break up?
That's what I was gonna say for later.
Was it really?
Yes. Okay. So
that's why I was like, I just want to wait because I want to see. But
yeah, I'll make it short. I think it depends on how things end.
Yeah.
So can we edit real fast? I gotta go to the bathroom real bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Hey, perfect timing.
Well, while they are taking a break, we will very quickly, I'll say hello. Hello, I'm Logan. I am your YouTube editor, Mark My Words audience. How are y'all doing? So uploads are terrible. I'm well aware of this, and I'm working to fix it. That's all I really gotta say. Back to the video, I guess. Okay, bye.
All right, guys. So we took a short break. Had a couple of people had to go potty. But we're back at it. It wasn't me.
Hey, what did we just say? Celia shits. So I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Just FYI, I did not poop.
Girls don't do that.
No, we do. I just didn't right then.
No. Let me be clear. But we were just about to get into. I had just asked a question. Can you be friends with an ex after you guys break up? And I know just like Jordan wasn't here for that, but I think Lauren was about to answer it.
Yes, I'll start. So
yeah, go ahead.
I think it depends on how you broke up. So if it's mutual, I think it can be a lot easier to end things and to be friends afterward. If you both realize, like, all right, well, let's just be friends. We don't feel this way, whatever. But anytime one person decides to break up, and the other person is, caught off guard or doesn't agree or still has those feelings, it is damn near impossible to be friends, like real friends after.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you can be like, we're friends on Facebook or whatever, but that's not friends. Like, I've made the mistake of dating someone in the friend group, and the friend group was really close, and wasn't the only one in the friend group to make that mistake.
I don't know who else could have done that.
Out there, Marcus.
I have no idea who else could have made that decision. What a horrible mistake.
I don't know. But
Lord, how dare you?
No, like, you can ruin a whole friend group if you're not careful. It's crazy. But no, I think it depends on how you break up and how much the other person is still invested at that moment in the relationship. I think if one or the other doesn't agree or isn't ready for it to end, it's going to take a long time. If not, you may never be friends again. And that happens. That happened for me a lot. But I think it just depends on how you end.
Yeah. But that's pretty much how most of, if not all of the relationships that I've been in have kind of been. Like, it wasn't just like it's kind of like that the mutual friend that I had between that person. Just kind of like, I no longer needed to associate with that person after we broke up because I wasn't around them anymore.
And see, I can't think of one ex that I have that I would actually consider like a friend.
Yeah.
Because
same. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said before, like, it was either me pregnant with them or the opposite. It was never a mutual thing. And it's been weird because a couple of the guys, like, after a while have tried to like reach out to me and text me and like be friends. And I'm like, no. Because I don't know how else to say it. Like, no, because
it's simple. It doesn't need to be said any other way.
It's weird because it's like the guys who reached out to me were the ones who either, for one of them, cheated on me multiple times, calling you out. You know who you are if you listen, which you probably don't. You don't know Marcus, and he doesn't know Marcus, so it's fine.
Dang, that means we can say it and nobody.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Might be somebody else.
Or the other guy, Marcus probably met at some point, but like, he lied so much. I mean, it was like, why? Why would you lie about something stupid like that?
Yeah.
So it's the ones who like did me wrong the most who are like, let's be friends 2 years later, and I'm like, no, because I don't even respect you anymore.
Yeah, you lost that. Even friendship trust.
And I'm sure the one guy that I broke up with would say the same thing about me, because that's just how we feel after the fact about it. You know, like, I get it. So yeah, I think it depends, but most of the time I'm gonna say no.
Yeah. Jordan, any thoughts?
Well, I sure as heck don't know because I never did it.
Right. That wasn't what I was asking.
I mean, I tend to agree. I think a lot of what Lauren said makes sense. I think a lot of it, like she said, comes down to how things ended. And I think that's why a lot of people, will say sometimes, I don't want to risk our friendship, because for a lot of people it just doesn't work. Being friends with someone after you've been in a relationship and you're not anymore. I think it takes a level of maturity, and it takes, like you said, it had to have ended on some sort of amicable, mutual terms. Like, if someone cheats on you, then you're not. There's nothing obligating you to be friends with them anymore after you break up with them. That's not your burden. But if you're like, hey, things just didn't work out, we can still be friends. But I think it's possible. I just think that it doesn't happen for a lot of people for a number of different reasons.
Right.
I'll say that, where I think where it happens more is when like in a marriage, when kids are involved. And I think that's when it's more just like
for the kids' sake.
We're just gonna play nice for the kids' sake.
Yeah.
I think that's where you more see it. Maybe not so much in just like girlfriend boyfriend relationship,
Sure.
but
well, and I agree with that. My parents broke up when I was a baby. I was like 9 months old, and so for the first few years it was hard. They both said that, and they were not friends. But as they've had to like pretend to get along, they are now. It's really weird. They're like almost best friends. Like when my dad went through his most recent divorce, my mom would invite him over to the house with my mom and my stepdad and my dad, just the three of them. And it was fine. So I totally get that, because once you share a kid, your priorities change. It's not just about your feelings and, whatever happened to you, but it's now that kid needs to have both parents in their lives, if at all possible, unless there's something more going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think as far as like questions go, that's really all I got from last episode. So if we want to wrap it up, unless anybody's got any like last minute things they want to say to the people,
throw them under the bus. To all my exes. No, I'm just kidding.
This goes out to all my exes.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. In high school, I thought like I was the most pitiful person, because it was like, oh, this relationship didn't work out, or whatever. It's just like you grow up, you get older, time moves on, things happen. It's like high school was dark days, but it's not as bad as we all thought at the time.
Right.
Yeah, no, it never is.
Yeah.
Being an adult sucks.
That's also true.
It's good. It has its perks.
Just keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
Be
for
good,
sure.
Be good to people. That's the main thing.
Yeah, just be nice. Be kind.
It doesn't cost much to be kind.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Nah, not a whole lot at all. And with that, we're gonna move on to our last segment, which I like to call "Fun Facts with the Crew."
Hey.
Fun facts with the crew.
I'm gonna forget that next time, and I'm not gonna call it that. People are gonna be like,
I'll sing it. Don't worry. Fun facts with the crew.
Gotta make sure I'll clip that and I'll just play it every time at the end of every episode.
Do it. I dare you.
But if you guys have any fun facts you want to show our peoples and our listeners, then now's the time to do so.
I can start.
I have none. So
I have 2 fun facts.
Oh.
First is that there is a really awesome animal sanctuary, which, yes, animals, me. Sorry. It's called Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge. If you're in Arkansas or near Arkansas, or just want to come see me in Arkansas, it's in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and it hosts over 100 like big cats, bears, lions, tigers. There's a monkey. There's a thing that I can't think of the name of it, but it's like a kind of like a raccoon kind of thing. They do so much good work for like conservation and just protecting animals in general. And it's my favorite place in the whole world. So if you can go. If you want to stay there, they have freaking safari houses and a tree house you can stay in. And when you walk outside, you can hear the little lions caroling and making their weird lion noises at night. But for real, like, I love that place. Everyone should go. It's not expensive, and it teaches you a lot about like what's wrong with this country when it comes to like big exotic animal pet trade. So a little bit of negative, but mostly positive because it's my favorite place. My second fun fact is that my dog is behind me, if you can hear her right now, shaking her toy around because she's mad that I'm not playing with her. So if you can hear her, that's that noise. It's not me just being weird. It's my dog shaking her toy around. So
it's Lauren shaking her favorite toy around in her left hand.
Yeah. And my dog's name is Nima, she's just the cutest.
She is. She's a great dog.
Marcus knows. Nima. He's been here. He's done.
Love Nima.
Yeah. She's the best.
Jordan, any fun facts for us?
Well, in my quick Google search of favorite fun facts.
Whoa, you have Google?
Wait, what's Google?
What the heck is a Google?
I found a Reddit post about everybody's favorite fun facts, and the two best ones I see are manatees have fingernails on their flippers.
What? That's interesting.
They can grab stuff?
And also, the word fun comes from the Middle English fonnen, meaning to make a fool out of someone. The word fun originally meant to cheat or to trick, and adopted the current meaning of something amusing only in the early 1700s. Its origin is still reflected in the expression, make fun of someone.
Wow, I was just about to say that. Wow, that makes so much sense.
It's a literal fun fact about fun. There you go. That's all I got.
Dang, well, that's what's up.
Because I had to Google it. So
hey, I think that's where most fun facts. That's how you learn them. Yeah, you know, we're all just learning something.
What's Google?
Yeah, but what the heck is Google? I talk about that some other time.
I don't. I just made it up.
Never heard of that.
I read it in an encyclopedia.
Internet. Fairy godparents.
Fairy godparents.
Fairies.
Well, we're gonna end this today. Thank you guys, both of you. Jordan for co-hosting with me, and Lauren for joining us today.
You're welcome.
We love having you.
Before we go, as your co-host, I feel like I have to step up for my duties. Everybody, check out the merch.
Okay, Marlon.
We got some fat new merch. We're people out here. I'm not going to name names, but somebody is out here working hard to get all this fabulous merch for you guys.
Yeah, it's a guy. It's a guy I know.
I don't know who it is. So check out the merch over on teespring.com/store/Mark My Words merch. It's also a lot easier if you don't have to memorize that whole link. Just go to the Facebook page, Mark My Words. There's a button right there that says shop now. You don't even have to know the link. Just click it and boom, you're on the merch page.
You got it.
We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got tank tops, we got the snapback. We know we had some requests. It's live. You can rock a nice lid on your dome. We have some new merch on the horizon. There may have been some stuff cooking up.
It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice, y'all.
Christmas season coming around. Throw out some merch. We may have some promotions for free shipping or something. You never know. Just stay on your toes.
Yeah, stay updated on the Facebook page.
So yeah.
Hey, thanks for being a true fan, supporting the cause.
Facebook page, merch. Thank you for all our returning listeners. Thank you to all our new listeners. We hope you have a fantastic time. And that's my little pitch for Marlon. Because Marlon's always really good about thanking the listeners. So.
Okay, Marlon.
Shout out to Marlon.
Shout out to Marlon.
Shout out to Marlon.
Hey, that's my boy. This has been the Mark My Words podcast, everybody. We'll see y'all next week. Holla at ya, boy. Everybody say bye.
Bye.